Hello there, my name's Scott. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Choicewood Koosailla, I think that's how it's pronounced, which I received from www.choicewood-vapes.com. Now, normally at this stage I'll be giving you a disclaimer to say whether I purchased it myself or whether it was sent free of charge for the purpose of conducting a review, but neither of those actually apply this time, and the actual manufacturer did actually say to me, I don't want a review, but I'm still going to review it anyway. Now, the reason this come about is that I give away a lot of my stuff, and over the last 5 years, you know, obviously given away plenty of stuff to plenty of people. And apparently around 2 years ago, I sent off a couple of starter kits, some e-liquid and a few spare cartomisers to a guy who was obviously just sort of starting out in vaping. And 2 years later, he's now started up his own company making sort of wooden devices. And so I received a nice little gift here with a lovely letter in it, sort of saying, you know, how grateful he was for the stuff that I sent him those years ago, and all that sort of cape. I won't get sort of too into it, but it was a really nice letter, and it was did tug on the old heartstrings a little bit. So very, you know, a lot of thanks for that, mate. And but he did say, you know, I don't want to review this. It's just like a present. However, though, I am still going to review it. But just bear in mind, though, that you know, I do have a little bit of a sort of sentimental attachment to it now. I was sort of quite touched by the very nice sort of a letter. So there could be a little bit of bias in there. There may not be. I'm not too sure. So you have to sort of just take a look at it and see what you think for yourself. Anyway, enough of that rubbish. Let's go on and show you what's in the box. Okay, now this particular one I'm going to show you here, I believe is called a Koosailla or Koosailla. I'm not too sure how it's pronounced. It's basically a mixture of two words from the Cornish dialect. So just to make things a little bit easier, I'm just going to refer to it as a Choicewood. Okay, so the Choicewood comes in a very nice sort of wooden casket. And if you open up the lid, inside you're going to find sitting on top a little sort of certificate of authenticity. And then underneath that you're going to find a little sort of woven bag, and inside will be the Choicewood, and I'll obviously show you that in a second. And all this sits on top of a little miniature barrel of hay. Now, it may be a little bit over the top, but personally I really do think the whole presentation really is very nice. It's got some just really cool little touches there, and for me, being a person who really does like a sort of presentation, you know, you can't really fault it. Okay, so inside the bag you're going to find the actual device, and as you can probably tell, it is made out of wood, and these are all crafted completely by hand. Now this particular one is made out of solid oak for the main body and a black walnut for the sliding battery compartment door. On the front you're going to find a brass, I'm not too sure what you call it, whether it's a coin or a medallion or emblem, not too sure, but it's made out of brass, and you can have it left blank if you want to, or you can have it engraved, and they very kindly engraved my name in the centre there. Going around the outside you're going to find Choicewood, Cornwall, UK, which is the place where it's manufactured, and also your serial number down towards the bottom there. On the side you're going to find your manual button, and this is what you're going to press and hold down each time you want to activate the atomizer or the cartomizer. It's got a nice feel to it. It's quite sort of firm, but it's quite spongy as well. It's just how I like it. It's not a clicky sort of switch as such, and made out of brass. And because of the size of it and just the look of it, it does remind me quite a bit of the old silver bullet button. And then right on the very top you're going to find a 510 atomizer connection. So that means you can use any atomizer or cartomizer that also has a 510 threading. Now with regards to batteries, this particular one uses an 18650 battery, and I've been using my AWIMR 18650s in there, and they fit and work just fine. Now on the back you've got this black walnut sort of sliding compartment door, and you do need to slide it off to get to the battery compartment. It can sometimes be a little bit stiff to undo depending on sort of how hot or humid your house is basically. So if I've got quite a cool house, then it slides off really nice and easily. We still have the magnets there to hold it in place. But if the house is like really hot, for example last night I had the heating on full blast, it was obviously quite hot in the house, and I really did struggle to slide it off, but where it's a bit cooler today it's sliding off a lot easier. So inside you've got your battery compartment. It's nothing sort of too fancy to look at, but it seems to be all, you know, pretty neatly done. And I like the fact that rather than sort of the switch being soldered on, it seems to actually have sort of little screw connections in there. Just makes it a little bit neater. So then to install the battery, just got to make sure the negative end goes towards the spring there, and that just slides into place, and that's it, you're good to go. So you just need to slide the compartment door back on, and that's it, all done. Now it's probably worth mentioning that the wood goes through a treatment process over a period of several days to obviously help protect the wood, help preserve it, and obviously bring out the grain and the nice finish. However, they use a oil called tung oil, and tung oil comes from a nut tree. So if you happen to have a nut allergy, just let the manufacturer know, and then they will use a different oil for that process. Okay, so just bearing in mind that these are completely made by hand, you know, it seems to be very nicely made, not been any sort of little rough areas on it. I've not got any splinters or anything like that. The switch is very nice and secure in there, obviously working as well there, as you can hear. Only sort of slight criticism really would be that the battery lid can sometimes be a little bit of a pain to slide out, but I suppose I'd rather have it in there too tight than too loose, even though you have got the magnets on there to hold it in place anyway. Okay, so what I've done, I've just attached my trap tank to it with a matching wood effect drip tip. Let's go ahead and see what it vapes like. Okay, so that was the Choicewood Koosailla, not too sure how it's pronounced. And what I'll do now is go ahead and show you in action. So I'm going to be using it with an 18650 battery, obviously, and it came off the charger around an hour ago. Been having a bit of a vape, so I'd imagine it's reading something like 3.8 volts, 3.9 volts. Using it with my trap tank, which has been filled up with some 18mg strength tobacco flavoured e-liquid, just a PG e-liquid. And the cartomizer inside the trap tank is a Bogue 2.2 ohm carto. Okay, so this is the Choicewood. Now obviously, when it comes to like vapour production, flavour, throw hit, it is all going to come down to what you're actually going to be using on the end of it. So there's not a lot of point me sort of really talking about it, because like I said, you know, it's all going to be down to your own sort of personal setup. But nevertheless, with the setup I've got here, getting plenty of vapour, flavour and throw hit. I suppose really the next thing to talk about is actual sort of like the build quality. And you know, I'm not a massive lover of sort of wooden, I don't know, I was going to say a box mod, but it's not even really sort of box shaped really, so I'm not too sure what you'd actually class as a wooden device, let's call it that. And but you know, as wooden devices go, you know, bearing in mind sentimental value as well, it is quite a nice one to look at, and very smooth. No, there's no sort of little rough edges on the wood. It does look like it's been sort of nicely crafted. All the electronics inside there, very sort of nice and neatly done. I do like the button. It's got like really does remind me of the silver bullet button. Just a very nice action, nice sort of big area there, so it's going to be sort of nice and comfortable to use. Obviously, there's no sort of main on-off feature, so if you was going to carry it around in your pocket, there is that sort of slight chance of it accidentally activating if it rubs up against something. But I've got to be honest, I'm not going to be walking around the street with it. It's too big and sort of too clunky for that. I'm not even too sure if I can actually get that in my pocket, to be honest. But you know, the actual wood that's being used, like this particular one, is the solid oak for the main body, and the black walnut on the back there. And it looks like very nice wood, no sort of rough edges or little splinters or anything like that sticking out. And you've got obviously like the brass logo on the front as well. And you know, so construction wise or craftsmanship, bearing in mind these are sort of completely made by hand, you know, everything seems to be done very nicely. Despite its sort of pretty hefty size, I suppose actually, no, I've probably got an advantage where I have got pretty big hands, but it is, you know, really nice and comfortable to hold in your hand. Obviously, you have got these sort of contours there, which, you know, from the profile does look a little bit like a a pregnant woman. And but it does sort of fit your hands like really nicely. But I do find it quite equally as comfortable to hold it the opposite way. So it's actually sort of going into like the palm of my hand, and then your finger on the top button there like that. So and, you know, either way seems to be nice and comfortable to hold. Now, battery life on it is going to be pretty good. You know, it uses the 18650 batteries, and for me, based on how much I vape, you know, an 18650 with a cartomizer tank like this, you know, it lasts me a full day quite easily. If you're a fairly light sort of vapor, you know, you're probably going to get a day and a half, maybe even sort of 2 days out of it. If you're like a constant chain vapor, obviously you won't get a full day, but you probably get a good sort of half a day to sort of 3/4 of a day. So, you know, battery life, you know, is really, really good. No, there's not a great deal else I can really sort of tell you about it. If you fancy having a nice bit of wood in your hands, then go along to www.choicewood-vapes.com. Thank you very much for watching. Also come along and visit my website at www.e-cig-reviews.com. That's e-cig-reviews.com. Cheers guys, happy vaping, see you later.